Yes, yes. Welcome to the ancient world of tabletop games. I am Agamemnon from the historical documentary Time Bandits. This is a report from a fugitive. My game organisers are of this plastic variety. They are unofficial. These reliable titans make larger board games easier to deal with, corralling game components and shortening setup time. Take a large or medium boxed game, grab the fiddliest game bits therefrom, and move from the untamed wilderness to semi-controlled civilization. That's country mouse talk. Town Mouse is even more organised than that, setting up third-party support tailor-made for industrial-strength gaming. I didn't consider buying in official-unofficial game organisers until now. These organisers are empty, though once held game pieces for clans of Caledonia. Country Mouse organisation. Nothing wrong in that. Town Mouse plans come at a heavier price. I bit the financial bullet and bought two officially unofficial products for this game. What do I mean by that official-unofficial label? Third-party support. Someone who didn't design the game measures the hell out of a board game and creates a handy gadget for that game and sells it to someone who bought the game itself. It's unofficial, not in league with the game manufacturer, but it will officially fit your game. Away with the generic plastic storage boxes. Welcome to wooden game organisers and acrylic overlay boards. What do you need to know when considering buying this sort of stuff? You are upgrading your game by making it easier to store components. This speeds those basic procedures, the game hello and the game goodbye. The Game Goodbye was Raymond Chandler's last major work, a mystery involving the disappearance of his dicey detective, Philip Ludo. And that is a board gaming fact. Game organisation hastens setup and speeds packing the game away. There are many types of game organiser. Just about the least complex of those is the box the game came in. If it arrived in one, you'll have to hunt around to find board games sold in bags. Makes and models, we have the foam insert. Gut your game box and drop foam sections into place, then drop your game back into the box. Alternatively, use 3D printing to achieve the same level of organisation with a brightly coloured framework nestling in the box. Replace everything by switching to a dedicated game crate at a dedicated game crate price. A step below a full crate, there's the wooden frame, and I've gone for the wooden frame assembled and dropped into the box. On top of that, I've added acrylic overlays compatible with the organiser. Let's dig deeper into this tale of manual dexterity, patience, worry, and splintered materials. We'll start with Clans of Caledonia in its box. Manage your resources on a hexagonal map of Scotland. First, manage all the game pieces in there. Beyond setting up the game, one bump to the table and all those wooden bits will go flying during play. The obvious answer to that problem is to kill players who bump the table. As gamers, we avoid that quick fix for legal reasons. There are several options available when it comes to organisers and overlays. Organisers and Overlays was a cancelled role-playing game designed by Mike Pondsmith. He went on to design an RPG based around a cancelled castle. And that really is a role-playing fact. I opted for these products by Gaming Trunk as I was really going after an overlay for the player boards, and that design was built to fit into the wooden organiser the company made. This is one of those games with a filled-in player board. Pile all your pieces onto your player board at the start of the game. As you remove wooden components from your player board and place them on the main game board, you reveal the bonuses you'll receive for putting farms, factories, and distilleries into play. Even if your farming empire is scattered across the map of Caledonia, one glance at your player board tells you what you need to know. And that's a great game concept that comes with a terrible drawback. Don't play one of these games with the table bumper. ban the table bumper, or invest in an overlay that holds the army of wooden bits in place. And ban the table bumper. Here's an overlay for Istanbul. It holds the pieces in place rather loosely. If you bump the table, there'll be a disturbance in the force, but you'll reconstruct the game with minor adjustments. That type of loose overlay is cheaper than the overlays you have to build. Contrast that overlay with one from E-Raptor for 2nd edition Arkham Horror. That overlay is secured by metal pins. None of that here for Clans of Caledonia. It's acrylic all the way. These panels are transported in protective sheets that must be peeled away without snapping anything. Acrylic is sturdy, yet it's a brittle kind of sturdiness. Be very careful when removing the protective coating. That's one of the fiddliest jobs, removing the protective layers from these acrylic linking pins. I broke 2 of these pins, putting them in place, and that was with little force applied. You can catch a pin at a dodgy angle and snap the end off. In each case, I nudged the broken pins into place, and they still served as solid links. This was no disaster. However, the overlay sets come supplied with 1 extra pack of acrylic pins in case you break a few. That's a nice touch. If your butterfingers snap everything in sight, even destroying the spares, remember that with a pesky bit of manipulation, you can still use a linking pin, even if you lose both end supports. Warning: pesky manipulation is pesky. May contain traces of frustration and annoyance. I found the trickiest part wasn't assembly of each overlay, but the removal of all that protective layering. You risk cracking the more fragile areas of the top layer if you go in recklessly. Take it easy with those top layers. Here's the finished production, a cardboard sandwich. The game components fit in easily for the most part. Those whiskey barrels are a little awkward. I chose this company's overlay design as the McMeeples are lying flat inside the display, and I'll be filming overhead for gameplay purposes. There was another design that allowed the McMeeples to stand up in narrower slots the way the barrels stand up, but it wasn't for me. These player boards, overlays and all, fit into the game organizer. The manufacturer, Game Trunk, stressed that the overlays and organizers I purchased were for the earlier printing of the game. Always check details like that. This copy of the game is the original Kickstarter version. You can tell that by the salmon pink tinge that comes through in the back of the box. It also has a cardboard sleeve. I bought the big box version of Istanbul, but that edition of the game is the same as the earlier version component-wise. It just has all the expansions in the one place. The acrylic overlays matched up without any problems, but do your research on editions and printings of the game before you commit to buying overlays and organizers. Here's the organizer's wooden framework in its starting state. Fiddly wooden panels are fiddly. Once constructed, the organizer is sturdy at one end and flimsy at the other out of the box, but it's not designed to live outside the box. Empty your game box. Everything comes out. I've placed the German edition of the rules under the organizer frame just to give a tighter fit. This reduces the chance of game pieces sliding beneath those open dividers where there's no flooring, so to speak. Assembling this was a nightmare. The instructions hint at an assembly time of 45 minutes. Now imagine you aren't assembling an organizer. You are defusing a bomb with a trembler device, triggering devastating detonation. Still want to rush through the job? You're not on a timer. It's a trembler. The finished organizer is a masterpiece of design. It is rightly impressive. Sadly, it is made of unforgiving construction material. There are no spare parts here if you splinter the entire assembly into matchwood in your impatient rage to be done with the damned thing. Did I build this in 45 minutes? Just about, though I wrestled with the first 2 pieces for around 15 minutes. The instructions recommend wood glue only for the shakiest connections. I did the job without glue. It's the task of the game box itself to confine the flimsier portion of the design. The only tool I used? Scissors. I employed those to scrape away at awkward sections. When removing pieces from packaging from the original frames, I found a lot of splinters jutting out. These I trimmed away with the scissors. For pieces that wouldn't fit through tightness, I went around paring connectors down, refitting, failing, paring down, refitting, failing, until I achieved success. It was easier to trim away at the connecting holes, though, as that reduced the risks of splintering wood. Go at each task gradually. Stare long and hard at the assembly instructions. Plan your journey thoroughly. It was close, but I barely managed to assemble the organizer without blowing it to smithereens. The greatest drawback to this excellent design is fitting the bits. Any other drawbacks? Price and location of the company. The price is the price, and you pay it if the thing you want is the thing you want, within reason. I knew the hidden price would be taxation across international borders. The taxman appeared to think I was importing a rare tree from Canada, going by the liberation fee I paid.